Welcome to Ghosts of Strategy. Today we won't talk about guns or terrifying explosions. Instead, we'll explore a weapon more powerful than anything else: absolute calm. And to do that, we'll delve into the true story of one of the greatest female spies of World War II, a woman who struck fear into the entire Gestapo machine, Violette Szabo. Born in 1921 in Paris, France, into an ordinary family, Violette grew up with the hopeful, vibrant spirit of a young girl. Like so many others, she believed her life would be a fairy tale of love and happiness. At 19, she met a handsome and passionate French soldier, Violette Szabo. They fell deeply in love and married after a short time. It seemed Violette's life was complete, but this was just the beginning of a cruel twist of fate. In October 1942, Violette Szabo was killed in North Africa. The news was a fatal blow to Violette's heart. The grief of her loss not only broke her, but also compelled her to seek a new purpose in life. From a fragile girl, Violette transformed into a determined woman. That pain, instead of crushing her, became a tremendous source of energy, pushing her to join the SOE, Special Operations Executive, a secret British spy force. Violette wasn't a spy trained from childhood. She wasn't a born genius. She was an ordinary person forged by the very hardships of her life. This transformation is a profound psychological lesson. It shows us that emotions, especially negative ones like pain and loss, can be channeled into strength. Psychologists call this sublimation, a defense mechanism that allows an individual to turn unacceptable emotions into a positive, socially beneficial action. Instead of drowning in sorrow, Violette used her pain as fuel for her courage. She not only wanted to avenge her husband, but also to fight, so no one else would have to endure her pain. This is crucial because it shapes a spy's mindset. A spy doesn't just fight with skills, they fight with an ideal. Violette's ideal wasn't money or fame. It was love, sacrifice, and the grief of a wife who lost her husband. This deep and genuine well of emotion became the most solid foundation for her cover. When interrogated, she didn't need to act. She simply had to tell her story, the story of her husband's sacrifice, her pain, and her reason for fighting. This authenticity, even within a lie, was more powerful than any fabrication. In our daily lives, we can apply this lesson too. The pain of a broken relationship, a work failure, or a dream that never came true, all can be transformed into strength. Like Violette, we can use these negative emotions as motivation to rise up and become stronger. The issue isn't the presence of negative emotions, but how we deal with them. That's the first lesson from Violette Szabo. Emotions aren't a weakness. They can become the most powerful weapon. In 1944, a pivotal year of the war, Violette was airdropped into occupied France. Her mission was extremely dangerous: support resistance groups, destroy roads and bridges, and prepare for the D-Day operation. In the world of spies, every moment could be the last. She knew that if she was caught, death was waiting. But what she feared most wasn't death, but being captured alive. Because in that world, emotion is the most dangerous enemy. And then the unthinkable happened. On a mission, Violette fell into the hands of the Gestapo. She was taken to a room where hundreds of spies had fallen. That interrogation room had no guns or brutal torture devices. Their only weapon was psychological dominance. A German officer walked in. He threw a file on the table and looked at her with cold, contemptuous eyes. "Szabo, we know who you are. Tell us about your network, or else." Facing this threat, Violette's heart didn't beat any faster. Her breathing didn't quicken. She sat up straight, hands bound, but her face was strangely calm. She replied in a soft, firm voice, "I'm just an ordinary woman. I came here to take care of my family." This was the moment Violette used her first and most fundamental spy skill, breath control. In psychology, this is known as a parasympathetic response. When we're anxious, our sympathetic nervous system activates, heart rate increases, breathing becomes shallow, pupils dilate. But by deliberately slowing her breathing, Violette forced her body back to a normal state. A deep, steady breath sent a signal to her brain, "Everything is okay. There's nothing to fear." This not only helped her stay calm, but also deceived her interrogator. A Gestapo officer was trained to read their enemies. They looked for signs of fear like a trembling voice or evasive eyes. But Violette gave them no clues. Her face became a steel mask, impenetrable. Her strange composure unnerved her interrogators. In our own lives, we also face our own interrogations. A stressful job interview, an important meeting, or a heated argument. In those moments, we often let our emotions take over. Our breathing becomes rapid, our voice trembles, and we lose control. Violette's lesson is a crucial reminder: if you can master your breath, you can master your emotions. Try taking a deep breath before an important meeting, and you'll see the difference. It's the first step to becoming a spy in your own life. The Gestapo used every trick to get information from Violette. They shouted, threatened, fed her false information, and even used fake prisoners to try to catch her off guard. But each time, Violette maintained an unchanging face. Not a single tear, not a single flickering eye, not a single wasted movement. She achieved this extraordinary feat with 3 core skills. First, she mastered absolute role-playing. Violette didn't just lie. She became the character she had invented. She believed she was an ordinary woman who had come here to take care of her family. In her mind, she repeated that story over and over. Psychologists call this self-affirmation. When a person believes a story, their brain adjusts their entire body language, eye movement, and voice to match that belief. When you're no longer acting, but have become the character, you will never be found out. This is crucial in life. If you want to convince others, you must first convince yourself. When you go to an interview, if you believe you are the best person for the job, your eyes will be firm, your voice will be confident, and your body language will be convincing. Conversely, if you doubt yourself, no matter how eloquent your words are, the interviewer will sense your insecurity. Second, Violette learned to suppress micro-expressions. Most people reveal their true emotions in 0.2 seconds, a wavering eye, a slight quiver of the lip. These are unconscious expressions that we can't control. But Violette trained to eliminate them. She made her face a cold, impenetrable mask. This is why the Gestapo was helpless. They knew she was lying, but they couldn't find any evidence on her face. To do this, Violette went through an incredibly rigorous psychological training process. She had to learn to detach her emotions from her external expressions. This didn't make her emotionless. It just helped her master her feelings. In negotiations or arguments, if you can maintain an unchanging face, you'll have an absolute psychological advantage. Third, she used the power of silence. When the Gestapo demanded she reveal her network, Violette remained silent. Her silence wasn't uncooperative, it was a weapon. When you're silent, your opponent is forced to fill the void with their own words and actions. They'll start to speculate, doubt themselves, and eventually reveal their own weaknesses. Violette's silence unnerved the Gestapo because they couldn't read her. In life, silence can also be a weapon. When you're cornered, stay silent. Let the other person talk. They'll expose their own weaknesses. And when they've shown their hand, you'll have enough information to make a decisive move. In the end, the Gestapo couldn't get anything out of Violette. Despite being imprisoned and threatened, she remained silent. In 1945, Violette Szabo was executed at Ravensbrück concentration camp, just 23 years old. It's said that until her last moments, she was defiant. She walked to her execution with an upright posture and bright eyes. She didn't win the war, but she won the battle against her own fear. Her courage earned her the respect of her executioners. After the war, she was posthumously awarded the George Cross, one of Britain's highest honors. Her story became part of history not because of dramatic action scenes, but because of the profound lesson in mastering emotions. So what can we ordinary people learn from this spy? Lesson 1, the power of breath. Apply the box breathing technique to your daily life. Before any stressful situation, take a deep breath, hold it, and then slowly exhale. It's simple, but it will help you master your emotions. Breath isn't just what keeps you alive, it's the command for calmness. Lesson 2, believe your story. If you want to convince others, you must first convince yourself. Use positive self-affirmations. If you want to succeed, believe that you will. That belief will shape your body language, eye contact, and voice. Just as Violette believed in her story, you must believe in your own. Lesson 3, the power of silence and listening. In negotiations and arguments, learn to be silent. Let the other person talk. Observe their body language. Listen to what they say and what they don't say. Your silence will create psychological pressure, forcing your opponent to reveal their weaknesses. And once they've revealed their hand, you'll have enough information to make a decisive move. Violette Szabo used these skills to stand against the Gestapo. What about you? You can use them to ace an interview, negotiate a contract, or simply stay calm during everyday arguments. That young woman proved a spy's most powerful weapon isn't a gun, but calmness. If you master your emotions, you master your destiny. The final question is, in the interrogations of your life, will you let your emotions control you, or will you control your emotions? If you found these spy skills helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. In the next episode, we'll explore the secrets of another spy, one who could manipulate the entire Japanese political elite with just words.